Yes, YouTube, how are we doing? It's Ben Hawksuff at the Coach Consultant, and I'm coming off the back of an incredible event this weekend. So we actually had the first Inspirational Summit, so that is the sign over there, and that is an event that we're going to be doing at the start of the year, and it couldn't have gone any more perfectly. All the speakers absolutely smashed it. Obviously, his first event, and it was a sold-out event as well. Just an incredible day all round, and our next event is going to be the Business Bust-Up Summit coming in November, so keep an eye out for that on social media if you follow me on Instagram, or I'm probably going to talk about it on here as well. But in this video today, I'm going to talk about free copywriting styles that's going to enable you to get max response. So this is really applicable if you are formatting reels, writing emails and writing captions. So words are really important, and one of the biggest elements that you need to look at when you are designing copy and formatting is psychology. So in this video today, I'm going to walk you through my top 3 favorite copywriting styles in terms of when to use them, how to use them, how to format them, and what type of response we actually want to get from it. So the best way that I could describe this is, if we're putting out 10 pieces of content, we want to make sure that we've got max impact on those 10 pieces of content, right? There's no point coming in and just throwing random shit out there and hoping something sticks. We need to really think about what we are saying on scripts, what we are really saying within emails, what we're really saying within captions, because words will enable someone to take action. So if we can articulate information the right way, present our personal brand in the right way, alongside looking at direct response strategies, we're obviously going to be onto a winner when it comes to actually writing out these type of copywriting formats, guys. So I've wrote them out on the whiteboard. You know, I love a whiteboard session, so I'll just jump straight over there now. Right, so as an initial starting point, I have actually moved the whiteboard to a different spot within the office because I realized the lights were actually shining on the whiteboard and you couldn't see things that much. So hopefully you can actually read things on the board a little bit more, and I might pull the camera forward in a second. So the 3 copywriting styles I'm talking about today is Pastor, Hero, and Clear. So the reason that I've wrote it out in this type of format is because I think that this is the best way that you can actually process it in terms of actually how you format this type of copywriting. So as a first starting point, what I want you to imagine is if we are designing a reel, right? So we're going to design a reel based on one of these copywriting formats. Each individual letter will basically be a different transition within that. So when you're actually writing out your scripts for your reels, if you use the Pastor method, the Hero, or the Clear, what I'm going to talk through in a second, all you need to do is make sure that you're going to do a different line in a different transition to obviously keep it engaging and keep obviously things flowing that we want with the algorithm and Instagram. The next thing that I want you to basically look at is if you are writing a caption or you are writing an email, the exact same process applies. All we're going to do is every single time that we move on to a new letter, we are going to move on to a different paragraph or a different sentence, for example. So just a really easy way to format it, because what I find with a lot of fitness professionals is they know what to say, they know what they want to say, but they just don't have the right type of format and template to actually do it. So when we're looking at, even before talking about what these actually are, right, think about how you're actually going to format in terms of delivery as a starting point. So the first one that I'm basically looking at here is the Pastor method. So this is one that I love the most because I feel like you can jam pack a load of information into a really impactful email or a really impactful bit of copy, for example. And in essence, what we're trying to get across here is direct response. So if we're writing an email that we want someone to respond off the back of, if we're writing a caption, or if we are creating a reel, this is the type of piece of content that we want in someone to be taking some form of action. So this could be promoting your offer, it could be promoting a testimonial from a client, it could be promoting a lead magnet, but we're trying to get at some form of action and response. So when we're looking at the Pastor method, what we've basically got is you've got the P as a starting point, right? So in essence, with the Pastor method, we're trying to put someone under pain while also actually giving them confidence to get to a point of a response, which is obviously down at the bottom. So the first thing that we're looking at is making sure in that initial part of the video or the caption or the email, we are heavily pointing out the actual pain and problem that that person is experiencing. From that point, we need to go the extra mile. So that is when you move from P to A, right? When we move from P to A, what we're basically doing there is we're actually trying to amplify their cost of inaction. So for example, highlighting someone's direct pain or problem, and then immediately afterwards amplifying the cost of action if they don't actually fix that situation. Because what that does is that allows someone to sit in a pool of pain and really understand that if they feel like they do right now, how bad could they feel if they don't actually take action on it. From that point, what we're going to do is we're going to try and get a bit of credibility and integrity by giving them some form of solution. So obviously what we don't need to do in an email or a piece of content is give someone the exact answer so they don't need what we do. But we need to also make sure that we're giving someone confidence that we can actually solve that situation for them. Going into step number 4, this is where we actually back up what we are claiming within the solution and solving someone's pain with an actual testimonial or some kind of evidence to actually present like, look, not only do I know what you're going through right now, alongside what's going to go on if you don't actually take action on this, but I can also provide evidence with a testimonial and a screenshot of some form of result to show that actually, wait, yeah, I've already done this with people. So all we're trying to do here is you've got pain, when we've got here, this is confidence and assurance. And then all we're going to do from that point is we need to make sure that they are thinking about us, right? So this is where you come in and you present your actual offer at high level. So you're going to present the offer to them clearly. So it depends on whatever your offer is. So obviously, as I've spoken about on so many other videos, it's so important to make sure that your offer actually aligns to your niche, because if it doesn't, it does not matter how much content and stuff you're putting out there. And then finally, what we're looking for is the R element. And that is basically where we are going to put together some form of response-driven interaction. So notice how I've actually put interaction there. So if I was doing the pastor method, this type of structure, I wouldn't be going book an application now or book a call now. What I'd be doing is I'm going, right, just DM me this or comment that or reply to this email or click onto this emoji on my story. So rather than coming in and just trying to put a roadblock in where someone's got a barrier to entry in terms of, oh wait, I need to send an application in, right, let's just set up some form of actual response-driven interaction where more people are going to go through the door because all they've got to do is just comment something, DM, or just click on something, for example, right? So again, that there, in terms of the pastor method, is incredible for direct response-driven content, right? The next one, I'm going to pull you in a tiny bit closer, is the hero, right? So the hero method for me is basically where you are going to heavily try and talk about and promote what your personal brand is, for example. So when you've got a hero method, I like it because it's called hero and you're putting yourself as a hero type thing. But in essence, if you're trying to tell your story, you're trying to talk about your opinions, you're trying to talk about your beliefs, if you are showcasing a client testimonial or a client result, the hero method is really good, because what we're trying to get here is as much emotion and connection as humanly possible, which is obviously very important for our actual audience to trust us. So, starting point. We've got to make sure that we actually hook someone in with something which is obviously related to what we are going to be talking about. So the hook needs to be really powerful and really emotional to get someone bought in that initial start point. Because at the end of the day, a lot of the time, if you, again, have got a poor personal brand, you could say, someone might not actually be interested in what you've got to say unless you are giving them value and pain and pushing all that type of stuff. So we need to make sure that our hook is going to really articulate what we are going to talk about in this story, because this is all this is a story framework. When we're looking at a storytelling framework, the hook is so important because we need to basically articulate what's going to be in the full piece of content, but at the same time, we're not trying to give it all straight away, right? The next thing that we're going to basically do is, once we've created, I'm going to put an exclamation mark for that, once we've created this real massive in-depth emotional hook, the next thing that we're looking for is the actual storytelling element, and that is basically where we are going to actually dive into the emotional connection of what that experience, belief or story means to you or meant to someone else. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to articulate everything in terms of getting someone's as much buy-in to what we're talking about as possible. So imagine that this is like a Disney film, right? So a Disney film always starts with the bad guy, then you've got the kind of emotional story, and then you're coming in and you've always got the hero. So the hero's there to kind of come in and save the day. So that's what we're going to look for after that, is once we've taken someone on an emotional roller coaster with this powerful hook and the emotional story element, what we're going to do then is we're going to bring through the actual revelation of what allowed you or this other person to overcome that situation. So from that point, we have got a massive amount of engagement, we've got emotional connection, and we've got a huge amount of like relief, like, oh, it's great to see that that situation was resolved. And then from that point, what you actually then do is you future pace the situation. So based on the fact that we overcome this emotional situation, we had a massive revelation, we then future pace what actually is going to happen next. So based on going through this process, what was the actual outcome for yourself or outcome for that person, and then alongside the call to action. So even though this is not heavily focused on direct response, does not mean that you cannot drop in with a call to action of going like, look, if you're experiencing something like this at the moment, or you've gone through this before, then I can help you with that because I've been through it myself, or I've taken another client through it, for example. So this is basically a clear framework, right? So clear, in essence, is where we are going to get a complicated topic, which if you look at the fitness industry, for example, there are a lot of complicated topics out there where people don't understand fat loss, muscle gain, and all of these other different areas. So the first thing that we're looking for is C within clear, right? So that is basically where we are going to directly identify the pain point or the challenge of what that niche is going through at high levels, so they're going to be bought into it straight away. So if you know, and you should know, again, having a list of all these massive problems. So I know that you are experiencing this right now. So all we're doing is we're highlighting and directly targeting the pain point or challenge that that person is going through. The next thing that we're going to go into is the L element. So we are going to basically actually lay out the complexity of that situation to someone. So for example, I know that you are struggling with body fat, right? In terms of you are struggling to lose weight, right? The complexity of that is the fact that if you don't actually solve that situation, then what it can actually lead to is all-cause mortality. It can lead to low fitness, it can lead to low body fat levels, and eventually maybe even lead to depression, right? So we're laying out that complexity, right? From that point, all we're then going to do is we're going to E, and this is basically the educational element where we are going to actually explain the solution to that person. And really thing that I like to add into here is the concept of make it simple, stupid. So don't try and come in and give a really complex solution to a complex problem, because if you do that, someone's going to automatically feel like they actually can't overcome that situation. We want to identify that this is a big challenge. We want to identify that, yes, this is a complex situation, but we want to come in and give someone ease by saying, look, this is actually not that difficult to solve if you follow X, Y, and Z. From that point, all we're going to then basically do is look at A, and that is basically promoting the advantages of overcoming that challenge by understanding the complexity of it and using the solution that we've basically provided. So can you see what I mean? So this is, again, 3 copywriting frameworks where I think if you use these, it'll change the game within your business. Because if you can create direct response where people take action, if you can get bought into yourself as the hero of the story and alongside telling your client story in this type of format, alongside breaking down complex information to give you integrity and authority within your coaching space, you're going to be onto a winner straight away. And then the final one on the clear is basically where we're coming in and we are putting together the results and a call to action like we always need to do on every single post, guys. So again, if you are writing captions, and for example, all you need to do is just put P-A-S-T-O-R, right? And then just write the paragraph and then delete the P and everything before. When you're coming in with your hero, do the exact same. So if you want to copy these frameworks, put them onto your emails, do everything that you need to do. And over time, what you'll find is that you will naturally start to type like this, which is another element that I really like. So when you are designing emails, writing emails, when you get into a position where you've done this like so many different times, you basically just kind of get to that point where you don't even need to write these frameworks down, because you'll turn around and go, oh, right, hero, that's a great framework for that. Oh, pastor, that's a great framework for that. Oh, actually, this is a technical problem. I'm going to use the clear framework. And again, within my community and within with my courses and what we do, I've got so many different frameworks like this. But for me, like I said, I want to give value to YouTube. These are my top 3 favorite ones, guys. So if you do want to find out more about what we do at the Coach Consultant, there's a link somewhere on my bio, or my Instagram DMs are always open. And I'll see you on the next video.